Hello and welcome. This is McGoobage. My name is Andy and this is a fairly new YouTube channel. For those of you that have seen my channel before, you would have seen that I did 2 playthrough series last season and got sacked twice in non-league. I'm useless with tactics. The thing is, I know there are plenty of people out there that also are. You're a bit like me, you struggle. So, I've been on the community forums, I've been around different websites, and I'm going to put together a tactical experiment. Now this experiment will be 4 of the most popular tactics tested with every single Premier League team, starting with the top 6 this week and then moving forward to the rest of the Premier League, just to see how effective they actually are. Now there are 2 types of people that play Football Manager, in my view. It's those that have the time to create and develop their own tactics, and there are those that don't have the time, that would love to have the time to develop their own tactics but need to play the game for an hour or a couple of hours a day or a couple of hours a week. They just want to download a popular one and give it a whirl. Hopefully these videos will give you a bit of a guide as to what tactics work with each team to help get me started. Let's get straight into it. Tactic number 1 is by Knap, who's a popular poster on the forums, the SI community forums, and it's the 4-2-3-1 Beowulf. There's plenty of different versions on here. He tests I think on FM Touch and things like that. It's the Giraffin version that we're going to be using. That is tactic number 1. That's a 4-2-3-1 formation. I'll go into it when we get into the game, but that's tactic number 1. Tactic number 2 is by Fuss, Minimal Fuss, Fastidious I should say. Again, a regular poster. He's a regular poster on this particular forum, and I'm using the stable version 2. So all the links to the tactics will be in the description. Minimal Fuss, Fastidious, version 2, the 4-1-2-2-1 formation. Tactic number 3 is by Rossler, who is another brilliant technician, and he's a regular poster on the forums. His is the Steadfast, a flat 4-1-4-1 formation. Very, very popular, and again he has a lot of success with his tactics. This will be implemented as tactic number 3. Tactic number 4 will be Jamie's 4-2-3-1 Attacking Catenaccio with set pieces. This is a very popular tactic on his Twitch channel, and this is going to be tactic number 4. Hello, and this is the 10th Premier League team of these tactical test series that I'm doing. We're halfway through the Premier League, and today it's Cardiff. If you haven't seen any one of these videos before, the premise is that we set up all the staff. We take over the club at the beginning of the game. We set up all the staff to deal with everything. So they deal with the transfers, they deal with the contracts, they deal with the training. I don't deal with anything at all. The assistant manager also deals with the tactical briefings, the pre-match tactics. What then happens is we're going to go on holiday for a whole season and see how the tactic plays out. Each one of the 4 tactics that we're testing. Links to the tactics in the description below. Also, when we pick the team based on the highest rated abilities according to the game of each player. So the strongest players will fit into the game, into the tactic. Sometimes they won't actually look as though they fit or they play in that particular position, but it's how we're going to proceed for consistency throughout every single one of these videos. So tactic number 1 with Cardiff is the Triple-Set Attacker, the Beowulf by Knap. It's attacking. It's in possession, it's short passing to space, play out of defence, low crosses, run a defence, work the ball into the box, overlap on both sides, slightly lower tempo. In transition, it's take short kicks, distribute to fullbacks, counter and counter press, and out of possession, defend narrower, much higher defensive line, much higher line of engagement also. Extremely urgent, prevent the short goalkeeper distribution, you get stuck in using tighter marking and the offside trap. So, goalkeeper, it's a 4-2-3-1 formation. The goalkeeper's defensive, Smithies in goal. 2 wing-backs on attack, Cunningham and Patterson. 2 ball-playing defenders on defend, Morrison and Manga. Deep line play maker in midfield, Camarasa, with Arta, the box-to-box midfielder, on support. 2 inside forwards, Murphy and Pilkington on support. Reed is the attacking midfielder on attack, and Zohor is up front, advanced forward on attack. Let's see how the tactic plays out. So, a respectable 10th place finish for Cardiff, which is good. And you look at their league positions, you can see it's pretty much consistent. Let's have a look at the schedule. So, Premier League, they started off with a draw away at Man City, which was good. Then beat Watford and Brighton. but lost in the EFL Cup second round on penalties to Sheffield United. Premier League, they lost to United, drew with Bournemouth, beat Crystal Palace and beat Wolves. In October, they lost to Arsenal heavily away, 6-2, lost to Burnley, drew with Fulham at home. November, drew with Everton, beat Huddersfield, lost to Chelsea 4-3. Into December, they lost to Leicester, they beat West Ham and drew with Southampton, lost to Tottenham and Man City, beat Newcastle and lost to Liverpool. In January, they drew with Watford, beat Walsall FA Cup third round, but lost to Brighton and Man United in the Premier League. Beat Burnley FA Cup fourth round and Bournemouth in the Premier League. Then beat Crystal Palace and drew with Wolves. FA Cup fifth round, knocked out by Chelsea 3-2. They beat Burnley in the Premier League 5-0. Beat Fulham and beat Everton. So there was an unbeaten run in the Premier League here of 6 games, which is good. Huddersfield, they lost in the Premier League and lost heavily to Chelsea. They beat Arsenal at home, lost to Leicester, drew with West Ham, lost to Southampton, drew with Tottenham, lost to Liverpool and lost to Newcastle. So as we say, 10th place finish, which was respectable, and I think every single Cardiff fan would take that right now. Let's have a look at player ratings. So, the ones that played the most. So, Camarasa, 7.10 from 35 games. Morrison 7.06, Murphy 7.02 and Zohore 6.96. Goals, Zohore 17 from 36 with 4 assists, Murphy 11 from 34 and 4. So a 10th place finish, not much in the cups, but that was decent. That's tactic number 1. So tactic number 2, and tactic number 2 is the minimal fuss fastidious tactic. It's positive 4-1-4-1 DM wide. And it's worth noting this tactic has the least instructions. It's positive, and in possession, shorter passing, you pay out defence, work ball into the box with a lower tempo, and waste time. In transition, you roll it out, you distribute to the fullbacks, you counter and counter press. Out of possession, high defensive line, prevent short goalkeeper distribution and use of the offside trap. Smithies is the sweeper keeper in goal, 2 wing backs on support, Cunningham and Patterson, 2 centre backs this time on defend, Morrison and Manga. Camarasa is the defensive midfielder on defend. Arter's box-to-box midfielder. Gunnarsson comes in as Mazzala on attack. 2 inside forwards on support, Murphy and Pilkington. Reed is up front this time because he's rated higher than Zohore. He's a deep line forward on attack. Let's see how this plays out. So, 10th place finish again, which is an excellent result for Cardiff. As you can see, league positions fluctuate somewhat more than the last tactic. Let's have a look at the schedule. So, Premier League, they started off with a defeat at Man City, beat Watford and beat Brighton, lost EFL Cup second round to Southampton. Lost to Man United, beat Bournemouth, beat Crystal Palace, drew with Wolves and then beat Arsenal. Nice little 4-game run there. Lost to Burnley and beat Fulham. November, they lost to Everton, they beat Huddersfield, lost heavily to Chelsea. December, not a good month. Lost to Leicester, drew with West Ham and Southampton. Lost to Tottenham, did beat Man City, which was a positive, but lost to Newcastle and Liverpool, 4 defeats in the month. In January, they drew with Watford, lost to Chelsea, FA Cup third round. So, Premier League, all the way through to the end of the season, they drew with Brighton, they lost to Man United, drew with Bournemouth, drew with Palace, lost to Wolves, lost to Burnley, drew with Fulham, beat Everton, drew with Huddersfield, beat Chelsea, beat Leicester, lost heavily to Arsenal, won convincingly against West Ham, but then lost to Southampton and Tottenham, drew with Liverpool before being thrashed 5-1 last day of the season, and Rondon got 4. Must be a glitch with the game or something. Inconsistent, I think you can say about that one. Let's have a look at the player performance-wise. Average ratings, Morrison, 38 games, 7.01. Manga 6.95, Patterson 6.91, Smithy 6.87 and Cunningham 6.86. The defenders are key. Goals, oh my word, Reed 8 goals from 38 appearances and 7 assists. Murphy 7, 40 and 3. Morrison 6 from 38 and 1. And Gunnarsson 4 from 40 and 2. Not many goals at all, but they finished 10th place. That's tactic number 2. So to tactic number 3, and it's Rossler's 4-1-4-1 DM formation. It's attacking. It's shorter passing to space, play out of defence, low crosses, run at defence, work the ball into the box, but you focus play for the middle, this one. In transition, take short kicks, counter and counter press. Out of possession, you defend narrow, a high defensive line, high line of engagement, extremely urgent. You're preventing the short goalkeeper distribution and use of the offside trap. As I say, it's 4-1-4-1. Smithies is a sweeper keeper in goal with 2 complete wing-backs on attack, Cunningham and Patterson. Morrison and Manga, centre-backs on defend. Camarassa's a half-back this time on defend, with 2 wide midfielders on attack, Murphy and Pilkington. 2 box-to-box midfielders, Gunnarsson and Arta, with Reed up front, false 9 on support. Let's see how this plays out. Wow, 6th place finish and the Europa League qualification for Cardiff. Outstanding. Look at this, you can see the season started off pretty mundane and it just went from strength to strength. Wow, okay, schedule-wise. So, Premier League, you can see the Premier League where they struggled. Okay, they lost the first game away heavily to Man City 5-1. Lost to Watford, lost to Brighton, and then went out on penalties, EFL Cup, second round. Lost heavily to Man United away. Beat Bournemouth, lost to Palace, and then beat Wolves. Into October, lost to Arsenal, but beat Burnley and beat Fulham. November, lost heavily away at Everton 6-0, but beat Huddersfield 4-3, followed by a defeat to Chelsea away. December, beat Leicester, beat West Ham, lost to Southampton, beat Tottenham, lost to Man City, beat Newcastle, lost to Liverpool. So 4 wins and 3 defeats. Into January now. They lost to Watford, drew with Man United FA Cup third round first game and lost the replay 3-0 and went out. Beat Brighton Premier League, drew with United in the Premier League, and then drew with Bournemouth in the Premier League. February, they beat Crystal Palace, they drew with Wolves and they beat Burnley. March, lost to Fulham but beat Huddersfield, Everton and Chelsea, all in the Premier League. Lost to Arsenal, lost to Leicester, drew with West Ham, beat Southampton, drew 4-4 with Tottenham, beat Liverpool and then beat Newcastle and secured a Europa League place. Player ratings. 7.13 Patterson. Let's have a look. And then Reed 6.95, Murphy 6.93 and Morrison 6.90. So obviously players that played consistently throughout the season. Goals, much better. Reed 16 from 40 with 6 assists. And Murphy 11 from 41 and 10. So a Europa League finish for tactic number 3 for Cardiff. I think the Cardiff fans will take that right now. That's tactic number 3. So to the final tactic, and this is the FM Scout Catenaccio, and it's a 4-2-3-1 wide formation. It's attacking and in possession, shorter passing to space, play out of defence, low crosses, work the ball into the box, focus play down both sides with a slightly lower tempo. In transition, you distribute to the fullbacks, you counter and counter press, and out of possession, defend narrow with a high defensive line and line of engagement. It's extremely urgent, you prevent the short goalkeeper distribution. You get stuck in using tighter marking and use of the offside trap. As I say, it's 4-2-3-1. Smithies is the goalkeeper on defend. Wing-backs on attack, Cunningham and Patterson. 2 ball-playing defenders this time on defend, Morrison and Manga. Deep line playmaker, Camarasa on support and Arta box-to-box on support. 2 inside forwards on support, Murphy and Pilkington with Reed, the attacking midfielder on attack and Zohor, the advanced forward on attack up front. Let's see how this plays out. Oh dear, this is not so good. Relegated and finished 19th, which is a woeful progression based on the first 3 tactics. Let's see the schedule. Lost to Man City, beat Watford and Brighton, then beat Yeovil in the EFL Cup second round. Lost to Man United, beat Bournemouth, lost to Palace, lost to United EFL Cup third round. Lost to Wolves, lost heavily to Arsenal, 7-1 away, Premier League. Lost to Burnley and Fulham. November, they drew with Everton and Huddersfield and then lost heavily to Chelsea 4-0. To December, they drew with Leicester, drew with West Ham, lost to Southampton, beat Tottenham, lost to Man City, beat Newcastle, lost to Liverpool. Into January, they lost to Watford, drew with Bournemouth, drew with Brighton, won the FA Cup third round replay against Bournemouth, lost to Man United Premier League. Went through to the FA Cup fifth round by beating Sunderland in the fourth round. Then beat Bournemouth 6-1 away in the Premier League. Lost to Crystal Palace, lost to Wolves, lost to Man City, FA Cup fifth round 3-2. Lost to Burnley, lost to Fulham, beat Everton, lost heavily to Huddersfield, and lost to Chelsea in the Premier League in March. Then unfortunately there was no wins for 9 games. They lost to Arsenal, lost to Leicester, lost to West Ham, drew with Southampton, lost to Tottenham, drew with Liverpool, then lost to Newcastle. They finished 19th and relegated. Let's see how the players performed. Average ratings: 6.97 Camarasa, then Gunnarsson 6.94, Smithy 6.90, Manga 6.90, Murphy 6.88. Disappointing. Goals: Zohor 11 from 41 and 2 assists, Murphy 9 from 32 and 1, with Manga 6, 34 and 0. Disappointing tactic number 4, but the first 3 were good, especially number 3 finishing in the Europa League place. This has been Cardiff. So that's it. That's the end of this particular tactical test. You can see the 4 tactics with varying levels of success. What do you think of the video? What do you think of those particular tactics? All the links to the tactics are in the description below. If you like the video, please hit the like button for me. It helps me build this channel. And please subscribe for more videos. There'll be a video of every single Premier League team with the same 4 tactics and see how they do. Thank you so much for watching. Hit the bell for notifications for when these next videos come out. Thank you very much. Show your support, and I'd love to know all your comments. Let me know what you think of the tactics. Let me know what you think if you download them and play them. And just, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.